Welcome to your weekly Energizer. This week, we're talking all about the importance of sleep and the role it plays in helping you achieve better performance, better healing, and overall just better health. We caught up with an expert, Dr. Melissa Butler, who is a physician here at Kettering Health, and to talk with her more about her experience and to learn more about how sleep impacts performance, but also the overall health. So let's get into it with Dr. Butler. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. I'm joined with Dr. Melissa Butler. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, hey, I've got your bio here, so let me just take a few seconds here because I want to do it justice because, in short, you are an expert, and we are talking to what I consider a local legend in the running community and in the medical community. But let's start with some of the medical cred, the street cred that you bring. So you're board certified internal medicine with a special interest in senior primary care. So you work at Kettering Health years ahead, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So you work predominantly on the outpatient side. All right. So you graduated from Eastern Virginia Medical School. You completed your residency at Kettering Health main campus. You were the chief resident.
I was.
And you're a faculty physician with Kettering Health main campus internal medicine residency program.
Yep.
So you oversee curriculum for residents until 2017. You're a faculty physician at Wright State, Boonshoff School of Medicine. You serve as a medical director for years ahead. And you specialize in folks over the age of 65, right?
Yes.
And it says that you love spending time with your husband, 3 daughters. We'll put a picture up on the screen. Training for marathons, hiking, traveling, reading, and you also play piano. So what are you playing right now?
I mostly play classics. So I have not learned anything new. I really just like to play what I've always played. So Claire de Lune is one of my favorites. I love Mozart. I love Bach. I love lots of, so.
Well, excellent. Well, we should have done a recording with you playing the piano. I didn't even think about this. Well, thank you so much. Well, we're actually here to talk about sleep. And we've got a whole team going Couch to 5K, and we're talking with a number of the experts in the community about different health topics. And so sleep is one that we're talking about. But we just went through your professional credentials here. So I've got some stats that you don't even know that I've got access to. This was pretty cool.
Okay.
So ready for this? So yes. Dr. Butler is an expert in exercise and in running. So on average, she runs about 46 miles a week. She spends 6 hours and 12 minutes averaging per week. So that's a little weird. I know this, but so a couple of other things. Last year, you ran 1,384 miles. You ran
more than that last year. I have to say, is that all I ran?
That's what Strava says.
That's low for me.
Oh, you're letting it slide.
I'm gonna have to up that this year.
You went, let's see, 186 hours and 51 minutes over the course of a whole year. That's a lot. That's pretty good.
That's a lot.
And then you gained 49,416 feet of vertical elevation.
Wow.
That's a lot. So you're running around the hills of Oakwood and Kettering and all kinds of fun stuff. And all time, this may be more, but you can correct me, but at least since you started tracking on Strava, 12,367 miles.
Wow.
And 452,000 feet of elevation gain.
Wow.
So what this tells all of us is that you're an expert not only in medicine, so you can take care of everything inside the body, but you're also an expert in running. And I will just tell you, some of her times are very fast. She is much faster than me. So I have your fastest PR for marathon is 3:19. Is that right?
No, I think that's the projected. 3:22.
3:22.
Yeah, is my PR.
Okay.
But I want to be 3:19. 3:19 is my goal because that will give me a Berlin qualifier, and I want to run Berlin.
Okay, so you like doing distance running, correct?
Oh yes, I'm a little person. Although I can't really make excuses because my daughter Bella Butler is so fast. She just won the state track competition or championship, and she's pretty short too. I use that as my excuse though, where I need distance to have an advantage because I can run fast-ish for a long time.
Yes. I just tell people I'm not fast. I'm just incredibly persistent is what it is.
Yes,
and I can endure amounts of pain. Well,
Yeah.
So you're an expert in running and you're an expert in the human physiology, but let's dive into sleep and
Sure.
kind of what sleep does. So let's just start with sleep. Like what's going on when we go to sleep? Why is it important? What's happening?
Yeah. Well, sleep, I'm going to focus mostly on how it affects performance, but
Sure.
I actually am a huge proponent of sleep with all of my patients for no matter what your medical condition is. Our body, it is essential for functioning well
Mhm,
for our body. So it definitely helps with any medical condition. But I'm
mhm,
going to focus on performance because that's what we're talking about, running performance. So I mean, if I told you or all you people that are also enlisted in this Couch to 5K program that there was a supplement that could accelerate your tissue repair, that could boost your human growth hormone, which leads to bone and muscle growth, that could enhance your metabolism, that could sharpen your concentration, and that could, alter your perception of pain so that painful things seemed less painful. We would all buy this supplement, right?
yeah, it's like sign
Every
me up.
single one of us. And this is what sleep does for us. But it somehow it's so hard for us to prioritize it. But yet sleep literally does all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So while we're sleeping, and especially as we get into our deeper phases of sleep, our body releases human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is magical, not not exogenous. In other words, don't go take it. You want it naturally produced, and
Mhm.
sleep will do that for you. So human growth hormone helps us repair and build. So it will repair. So that's how it prevents injury. Injury prevention is huge in running because
Mhm.
obviously you can't get to that 5K if you've injured yourself.
Yeah.
Sleep is essential. And then it helps us build muscle and build bone as well. So that's one of the main things that happens during sleep and why it's so important for athletic performance. Um, so the other thing is too, it kind of alters hormonal balance, and I
Mhm.
think probably many people have heard that people who get less sleep tend to gain weight more easily. A lot of studies, yeah, actually, it's linked to that for several reasons. They think sleep deprivation increases cortisol production, which is our stress hormone, bad for us.
Mhm.
But it also less sleep has been shown to increase levels of your hunger hormone, which is called ghrelin,
Mhm.
and then it decreases the hormone that tells us that we're full. That's leptin. So that's obviously what you don't want, right? So sleep is also altering like how we metabolize our food, and it also alters how readily we can access carbohydrates and glycogen during our runs. So super good for us.
That is cool. I love how you put it like it's like a supplement. It's like, oh, we'd go
Like
buy it. It's like sign me up. Get me on the
you
subscription.
would. I know. We would all buy it, but we can totally just get it ourselves. I mean, we just have to make it a priority.
Okay, well, that's excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, one of the questions that I get asked and that others get asked is like, and I'm sure your patients ask you, like, how much, Dr. Butler, how much sleep should I get? So, what's
Right.
kind of the recommended, answer for that?
Really, obviously, it is variable, but 7 to 9 hours, because as we know, we're not all the same. There's always the bell curve. We always hear about this bell curve, and the center of the bell curve is what most humans need.
Hmm.
So the bell curve, this portion of the curve is 7, and this one's 9. Okay. So 8 is in the middle. That means some people can get away with a little less, and some people need a little bit more, but in general, 7 to 9.
Hmm.
Now, I will say the more we're training, the more sleep we need.
Okay.
All right. So, but generally, if we can get at least 7,
Hmm.
but for somebody who is training for a marathon, for instance, early, you kind of want 8 or 9, preferably. It
Hmm.
is hard to get. I mean, it is. I mean, I know I work full time and I have 3 kids. I totally know it's hard to get. But that doesn't mean we still shouldn't strive for it. And I think that it is a matter of priorities. A lot of us, if we really are honest with ourselves, how much time are we, for instance, wasting on our telephones, looking at social media, looking at things that we don't really need to be looking at, and doing things that we don't need to be doing? We don't need to be watching TV at night, and we certainly don't need to be on our iPhones. We should just go to bed.
I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about how accountability plays into that. And so often, I'm like, I'll tell my wife or my kids, I'm going to go to bed early because I've got to meet so and so for an early morning
Yeah.
or something like that. And so it's just, yeah, but however it is that gets you out the door, gets you to bed a little bit earlier, it makes a huge difference. Now, does it change sometimes? I mean, if we're sick, do we need more or
Oh,
less?
yeah.
Or,
for sure, sure. Obviously, so kind of like just with a heavy training load, you want a little bit more. If we're sick, because our body's trying to repair,
Yeah.
which is why actually, I mean, most of the time, for instance, suppose we have the flu. I mean, we've all had that. You are exhausted, and the
Yeah.
reason we are exhausted is because our body is trying to repair itself.
Mhm.
So yes, if we're ill, a little bit more. If we're under high emotional stress, maybe stress from the job, stress from a family situation, whatever it may be, and then heavy training load, try to get a little bit more. Even an extra half an hour can make a huge difference. I mean, so just wherever you can get it,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've talked with our team is rather than trying to compare yourself to somebody else, just take where you're at and try to be, 1% better. And so that's why we've said,
Yeah.
if you can run, great. If you can walk, great. Just start where you're at.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing is just having the team work the plan and tell them the plan will work. Don't worry about how fast or how quick
Right.
or how many miles, but just simply work the plan.
Work the plan. Totally agree. And then in terms of prioritizing sleep, I mean, one of the things I hear so much, even from, my friends, other busy moms, oh, I look at this to decompress, the phone, social media. I'm like, you can't get better decompression than sleep. I mean, just go to bed. I mean, it is the thing that is going to help you the most. If you're
Hmm.
stressed out, if you're emotionally overwrought, I mean, go to bed. It's
Hmm.
totally better. Social media is terrible. It's so addictive. And I mean, I'm guilty too. I'm definitely not perfect on that, but um, definitely you got to hit the sack, go to bed.
Well, cool. So I'm curious, like what's happening physiologically? You talked kind of a little bit about it. So what's happening during
Mhm.
sleep that maybe isn't happening during the day, Dr. Butler?
Well, essentially, it is our time to repair. Our bodies repair.
Mhm.
So that's the release of human growth hormone as well as other things. But that is the time because when we're up and moving around, our body's doing so many other things. So you can just really think about it. All these I don't know how you want to visualize it, all these little repair workers coming in, and any type of micro trauma that's been sustained to our muscles or our bones during the course of the day, our body's working on repairing that. And that is in hyperdrive overnight. So that, and then too, I mean, just for other things, not even athletic performance, but for memory
Mhm.
too. They talk about for students, if anybody's studying or trying to go back and go to school at the same time, memory is enhanced overnight. So if you, for instance, are studying, and then you go to bed, you'll retain it much better, right? So, I mean, that's essentially, yeah, just think about it as repair time. It's when all the workers go to work to repair your body.
Well, Dr. Butler, this is so helpful. And my daughter actually is texting me right now. She made the gymnastics team, so that's what's popping up on
Ah,
the screen, and so
yay.
she's excited. But
Yeah,
it has
very
nothing to do with
exciting.
sleep. But she'll be excited tonight.
Well, except for that she's going to need sleep to perform well. There was actually, I know we're probably out of time, but in terms of athletic performance, there have been actual studies comparing, just average sleep for college. There was I think it was probably about 10 years ago, a study out of Stanford, and they studied Stanford basketball players,
Hmm.
and they just let them sleep normally. And then they subsequently asked them to get, I believe it might have been 9 hours of sleep a night. And these are college boys.
Uh-huh.
So generally college kids need more sleep anyhow. So 9 hours. And then they compared the performance before and after, and their sprint speeds improved, their shooting accuracy improved. So they improved on multiple measures. And that's the only change they made was sleep. So the first, yeah. So you can tell your daughter for gymnastics performance, she's got to sleep.
Well, Dr. Butler, this has been so helpful. So just to kind of recap, getting at least 7 to 9, somewhere in there, but the more the better is what we just heard,
More the
referencing the
better.
study. It's a time when our bodies can repair themselves, get the good kinds of hormones that help us be a little bit more calm, which I could use a bit more in my life. So I need to get a little bit extra sleep. I'm going to say doctor's orders. I got to get an extra 30 minutes.
That's right. It is doctor's orders.
And just like you said, it's not about being perfect, but maybe try incorporating a little bit more, taking an extra 20 minutes or 30 minutes and adding that to the front end of your of when you're going to bed.
Yeah.
So hopefully, folks, as you all are out there training for the Couch to 5K, this has been helpful for you. Dr. Butler, this has been really helpful. Thank you so much for taking time and sharing your expertise and having a little bit of fun talking about your running career and what you love doing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right.
And good luck to everybody.
Well, thank you so much. We'll see you out there on the road. Bye.